Hi.
What are some of your key learnings from running a woman-led business?
So for this, I would say it's important to be extremely tenacious and just to be able to grow as a business and to embrace like growth and also to face challenges head on, never to be afraid of failure. And I think one of the biggest lessons that we learned was during COVID. We took a big leap in faith, both of us together. It was a big moment for us, and we decided to basically rent out this 900 square foot place. And it was scary because all other businesses, while they were like shutting down,
downsizing,
All going online.
we just decided, okay, we're going to do this. And we had taken a lot to grow the brand, and we knew we still had like Bono fans and stuff. So I think that was one of the biggest things.
The ice cream was great. I've had it.
Thank you.
But how did you come about with this idea?
Bono?
Yeah.
So Bono basically started after I came back from the UK, and I was just thinking of like doing something different, and a lot of people were doing the standard macaroons, brownies, everything, and I just decided that we need to do something completely different out of the like general vicinity of like boring desserts. So what we decided to do is ice cream, because I've grown up just eating ice cream, loving ice cream. Had an ice cream machine at home, and what we do at like midnight is basically just come up with different, flavor combinations, cravings that we had. And we started basically using our family and friends as guinea pigs to kind of taste, give us some feedback, and everyone loved it. That's when we had the idea of like taking this into a business and starting out on our own. We've also grown the business like by ourselves with no outside investment for 7 years. So it's been an amazing like opportunity and like a growth phase.
Think about working together?
No, we actually didn't think about working together always, and I think it's been a blessing in disguise because we're very close.
Yeah.
We've grown up. There's a 4-year age gap, but we're basically like twins. We think the same on a lot of things, and personalities are different but also very similar. So I think just working together, it's definitely difficult to work together when you're
At times,
super close,
and
personally, emotional.
Yeah.
So to separate personal and business, sometimes it's difficult, especially when we're fighting. We fight a lot. But it wasn't planned, but we kind of got into it through a long story, and we've just stuck together ever since. Yeah, I think around 7 years.
Do both of you all create the ice cream together, or like one of you all handles like the business or marketing?
So Alyssa's more, she's got the aesthetic for the creative side because she's trained as a chef in Cordon Bleu, and I actually went to university and I studied psychology. But then coming back, there was not a lot of opportunity here, being in Bombay. So that's when we kind of decided to go into it together. And so I handle all like the business side and the logistics and stuff.
Always wanted to be a chef?
I think from a young age, just growing up, like my grandmother was a big influence, and she loved dessert. So however full she was, she'd always say, like I always have room for dessert. And I think somehow we've imbibed that. Whereas like how much ever we eat and we're like stuffed, if there's dessert, we're not going to say no to it. And then I think just growing up at home and experimenting, like all kids, going to cooking classes and things like that. And people would always ask me like, what do you want to do? And I think till a very late stage, I had no idea, till I realized that what I'm doing almost every day is in the kitchen, experimenting with different foods and desserts. And I then realized that this is what I want to do. And maybe I can take this up as a professional, go study it professionally, and come back and make something of it.
And you enjoyed the process? So
I mean, it was the best time, like living 1 year in London.
There were times that were actually, I would
visit
her, because while coming back from university, because I studied in the US and she was in London, so I would take that stop, I would go and I would visit her. And obviously, her school, like every day making new things and stuff, and
pastries.
you'd have to bring it all home. So whenever I would go, there would be like her whole fridge would be just stocked.
Like cakes to like
And-
croissants,
Yeah,
to
and
everything.
It was just crazy and it was dangerous because she would be living there and she would just sit and make all this stuff, bring it all home, and then every
And
day
then
slowly,
eat it
slowly, one by
literally.
one, eat.
For lunch and dinner, that would be lunch and dinner.
Yeah, I remember this because when I went also, like her freezer and her fridge was completely stocked and I must have been there for like maybe a week or something and I just ate and ate and ate.
Yeah.
So definitely very dangerous situation.
What are some assumptions people made about you as women in business when you started Bono? How did you prove them wrong?
I feel like being like two good-looking women who decided to start an ice cream brand. People in the beginning thought, it was a hobby or something short-lived, but 7 years on, we continue to like grow the business, push the boundaries, and like I think it's safe to say that we're one of the top ice cream brands in the city, and people recognize the name and stuff like that, and I think that brings us a lot of joy because the hard work and just the persistence of kind of not succumbing to people who didn't take it seriously in the beginning or thought it was a hobby or something you're just doing like from home and things like that. I think I think we proved a lot of people wrong. It just makes it so much easier when you love what you're doing and you're passionate about what you're doing and you're growing something and you're seeing those results. I think that's just amazing and we're so lucky and grateful that we found our niche and like we're doing what we love.
What makes your business authentically you?
I think from the beginning we believed in like unique flavor combinations, sort of like disrupting the traditional ice cream flavors because that was something I wanted to stay true to. Whereas like you don't have to go to a store and you get your boring like vanilla, chocolate, butterscotch. I wanted to experiment and give people access to kind of play on their palates and try different ice cream flavors. So every flavor you taste is authentically us. We've come up with the flavor. If we don't like a flavor, we don't sell the flavor. So I think our USP is honest ingredients where we have like no artificial stabilizers or preservatives. That's something that I definitely wanted to omit. I did not want anything artificial going into the ice cream. And another thing is cheeky flavors, just unique combinations. Like we've done savory ice creams like blue cheese honey. We do one of our top sellers is a dark chocolate with Italian truffle oil. That's a combination nobody thought would taste good, and then as it started getting out there and people started trying it, it's become one of our top sellers. So I think that's what makes Bono authentically us, that we believe in every single flavor we're selling to you. And another thing is when we started 7 years ago, we wanted to come up with very different packaging. So even the black tubs you see with the matte black print and stuff like that, when people were doing more like poppy colors for ice cream, like your pinks, your purples, we decided to go the opposite way. And I think now that's become a trend, and we were one of the first people to start that. So I think the packaging for sure and the flavors that you taste is us. I would say in a tub, like on a bowl, like in a tub, that's us.
Do you think having each other as a support system helped deal with this industry? And if yes, then how?
I definitely would say yes. So we're very close and we have implicit trust in each other.
So I think for example, I handle the creative side of things, she handles the business side of things. So running a business, first of all, you have to have complete trust in the other person. So we act as each other's support system when it comes to, the ups and downs of a business, especially during COVID, everything being so up in the air, not knowing, if our business is going to survive, if we're going to have to shut down, all of that. And I think even finances, accounts, everything, there's no,
you don't
complete
doubt
transparency. So that makes it a lot easier.
She better not doubt me. Yeah, it's really good to be distinguished, because you don't butt heads too much in that kind of way. There are definitely times where I give her my input, she asks me for my input, so that way we work around. And then if there's a flavor that comes to my mind, or I'm seeing something, I'm like, let's try this out. We try it out. Sometimes it fails, sometimes she's like, oh my god, amazing. So there have definitely been, we both kind of come together in both the aspects of whatever we manage. So that way, yeah.
How have you seen each other personally grow through all the life changes and through working together?
I think I've seen Simone definitely like mature a lot over the years working together.
I was going to speak for myself.
I always see her as like my baby, as my child, you know, that's been the relationship growing up, being the older sister. But just seeing the way she handles everything, whether it's customer relations, whether it's staff, whether it's growing the business, you know, like smart investments, things like that. I think she's definitely matured a lot, and this was kind of thrust upon her because, you know, I needed someone to be the business side and handle it, and she's just done so well. So I'm really proud of her and the way she handles things.
And what about you? What do you feel?
I think to just even, you know, think about it like when we first started and when we kind of decided to get into this together, if you see those two girls and if you see us now, I wouldn't really call us immature at that time, but at the same time I would, because
Naive,
there were
more
just
like naive.
so many things, you know, and it's not like our family comes from, you know, the food business,
yeah,
or any kind of restaurant catering, anything like that. It's just a completely new background that we went into. Definitely very new for me, because she, you know, at least had trained as a chef and she kind of wanted to go into this. So coming from years ago to seeing us now, to just kind of seeing what we wanted to build together, and, you know, going through all the obstacles, all the challenges, sometimes feeling like, oh my god, we're sinking, then coming out of it, you know, even during COVID and stuff, we've really just, I think, stuck by each other.
And I literally feel like I manifested this space because two things that I wanted was a lot of natural light. I wanted sort of like an experience center where people could come, try out the ice cream and sort of even use it as a co-working space. And the second thing that I wanted was like an old building with an arch. So this is stuff that I put down and I just thought about every day, and this dropped into our lap from nowhere. So I feel like we've made like a lot of calculated decisions, and so far they've all worked out in our favor. I just feel a lot of things, if you just put your energy out into the universe and you know exactly what you want, the universe responds. So I think for us, we've been dead on with exactly what we want and what we don't want, and somehow it's fallen into, you know, our lap, touch wood.
What is your creative process like when it comes to making your ice creams?
So I'm always inspired by my travels and tasting different flavors. I'm a big foodie, as you know, and I come up with unique combinations. So I put things together in my mind, write down the recipes, and then we bring the recipes to life and, you know, have customers sample them. So the great part about having the space is that we have people come here, try it, and if the flavors are hit, then we package it into a tub and, you know, it becomes a permanent flavor. So recently we came up with a lemon curd marshmallow, which was an instant hit. So like straight away that turned into a tub. We're also working on a vegan peanut butter jam, which has been like a success as well, because I think when people also think of vegan flavors, they think it'll be like tasteless or grainy. So I think we worked really hard to make sure that the vegan flavors have the same quality, the same texture as the other flavors. Yeah. I think we also have like a little write-up on each tub, which kind of describes the flavor and what it goes with. And, you know, we hope that when you read that,
it takes you
to that moment where you're like sort of having a bite of that ice cream and actually feeling like you're there.
What do you do when you have a creative block, and do you have any?
Every once in a while, for sure. And I love referring to like old recipe books and, you know, going back to school days and kind of doing a refresher course. And another thing I love doing is swimming and working out. I find that extremely cathartic, and it kind of de-stresses me, gets my creative juices flowing, and kind of just, I think, refreshes us. You know, even when we're both like stuck with anything, the first thing we do is we go for a workout to kind of just relax. That's our way of, like, I think, de-stressing and our meditation.
Yeah.
Almost.
That's something you can do together, right? great.
And we do
We
that
work out,
together as well. We work
yeah.
out together, we swim together,
Yeah, we do a lot of
party
stuff
together.
together.
So yeah.
What does AROKA mean to you? How do you feel when you wear our clothes?
So first of all, I'm really proud that it's a homegrown brand. When I came across the brand, I had no idea that this was an Indian homegrown brand, and I just love the colors, the fabric, the textile. I also feel like it's so easy for anyone to make good-looking clothes, but it's very rare that you look good in those clothes. You have models wearing clothes and they look amazing, but then for your average person to look good in those clothes, it's extremely rare. And I just love the way AROKA like drapes the body and like kind of literally works differently on different body types. I think that's so important, and how it complements your shape. So I'm a big fan.
So when I first came across the brand, I was very impressed because I feel like the brand is very quirky and it can be loud in different ways, especially seeing the new collection. I definitely feel like it was my favorite because I did browse the older lookbooks. I'm very happy to be, wearing AROKA right now.
Representing
this
the brand.
is the first time like that I've worn it, and I mean this set itself is extremely comfortable. And I definitely feel browsing, the collection and just older things as well, the oversized t-shirts, which is why I asked.
That's her style.
That's my style, that's my look. So I feel like there were just a lot that caught my eye. So I think that's just a very nice and comfortable kind of way to just lounge in, because that is my style. Like I love wearing oversized t-shirts, I like wearing oversized jeans. So yeah, I'm very happy to be in AROKA.